Welcome to my space. I'm Nat. Find my roleplay character blogs, roleplay resources, social links, and everything else in the description box. Like, subscribe, and enjoy the video. Hello. In this video, I'll be discussing my idea of what roleplay is as a concept. This video will be focused on roleplays existing in persistent worlds, like Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption. If you were looking to get into roleplaying, I suggest checking out my total guide about making a character for 5M. It goes into a lot of the core ideas behind making a character. Let's talk about how to roleplay. The actual basics of roleplay I've written out in a Google document you can find in the description. Please go give it a read to help grasp the very basic concepts that apply to pretty much every roleplay. I've really thought hard about how to express my love for roleplay, how it affects my life as a person outside of the characters I play, and just why I love roleplaying to begin with. It is a very difficult and complex topic to explain roleplay. In short, roleplaying is taking the mindset of a fictional character and acting out what they would do, say, and express as if they were real. Roleplay communities will add things to the basics of roleplaying to make their own servers more strict, realistic, or perhaps tailored towards a specific style of roleplaying. Some say the act of bunny hopping is failing to roleplay, while other communities don't think the action is failing to roleplay at all. The main goal for a roleplay server is to supply roleplayers a world to express in. How they choose to express within the rules is up to them. So what does that even mean? What do you even do in these vast, populated worlds? Well, you can do anything. You can go anywhere. You can be anyone. The limit is your own imagination. I hope showcasing how I roleplay inspires people to decenter mechanics in these games. This is just how I roleplay, and how others choose to spend their hours is up to them. Let me show you a day in the life of Trixie. A deep dive into her mindset that I take on as I roam about. Also an intimate look into my own thoughts behind the expressions of my character. Trixie woke up at the police department, and I wasn't recording at the time. She passed by some people gathered at the steps, and I already felt like logging off. Something about social circles drains my energy away. Trixie went down to the Binko, and I got her dressed for the day. She was looking cute. I didn't have any plans for her today, since I had a stressful start to my real-life weekend. I wanted to just relax with her, because my best friends are my characters. So we went to Polito, where the farmer's market was set up for the evening. We got high, loitered, some people passed. Then the market vanished, so now our loitering spot was gone. We cased the block, looking for photo opportunities and passing time. Enjoying the company of one's own self in the world we chose to dwell in. Nothing felt like it was left for us up in Polito anymore, so we returned Trixie to her car and left. We ended up at Up and Atom, hanging out there. I felt out of place with Trixie. Maybe it was my high. Maybe it was all in my head. Maybe it was them. The conversation felt flat and unwanted, so we left, again out into the open world. Where was there to hang out anymore? I drove around trying to make up an answer in my head. I made a video about the dying art of roleplay, and since then, I've become very aware of the lack of roleplay around me, characters feeling more like templates than actual fully fleshed out people, like they're meant to be. I thought about the lack of places people even show up to anymore, despite having a vast world to play in. Worlds to venture that have so much story even before our characters exist to live in these worlds. Why do people never seem to explore these days? Most of the map a ghost town, even with tons of characters supposedly breathing and awake. Are they even living? I got lost in these thoughts. Most of the driving I didn't even record, feeling it pointless to capture Trixie cruising unhinged and alone in the hills. I didn't know where we were going. Driving like some fabricated location would just appear before us. Somewhere for us to belong, and the thoughts would just clear away. Trixie already did a lot of fitness this week, and it felt like she needed a break from it. With everything wellness out of the list of options, I also didn't feel particularly social. Where to go? I began to think about why people even log into roleplay servers. What are their characters' goals? What are their characters' hobbies? Trixie has several goals. Trixie also has a large variety of things around the city she enjoys doing, mostly partaking in these activities alone. Sure, you can make a character, log in and make tons of money, buy the dog, buy the horse, buy the expensive earrings and roleplay rich. hustle and grind to make millions. Buy your character cute cars, houses, whatever they want. Whatever you want. But then what? All you've done is played the game. What does your character care about? What does your character want out of their life? Why are they making the money? And how does that contribute to your character's development as a person? I began to steer thinking instead about capturing some photography. Get my mind off the negative and indulge in something Trixie is supposed to love doing. Her love for photography. We pull up somewhere. I just pick a spot at random. 'Cause why not? Barren concrete suburbia surrounded us, and it didn't really matter if I saw something interesting right away. I've been trying to promote myself as of late to improve my own roleplay game, feeling like a master, but a noob all in one scene. Trixie sets up her tripod and camera. She does some poses, and I try to get myself hyped to take some influencing photos. What was on my mind was fogging up my ability to just accept my own chosen role. I've been trying to use me's more when wandering around, even if no one is there. Help myself self-immerse. Often I feel like I'm the only one who uses me's, and it makes me feel out of place. My own insecurity that someone might see a botched sentence above my character's head makes it difficult for me to press enter. More often than not, no one is even there to see the me's that I post. In this case, there actually was someone there. They were probably doom scrolling on that phone. Instead of just looking up, looking around, becoming who they actually want to be right now, just like Trixie was finally becoming who she wanted to be. Doesn't take much effort, doesn't take a game mechanic, doesn't take someone else being there. Trixie takes off down the alley in search of something to capture next with her make-believe camera of some sort of make and model I never researched. Another aspect of Trixie I should invest time in to improve. The research impacting Trixie's realistic projection. Does she use the brand Canon, Panasonic, or maybe something made up that fits the world of Grand Theft Auto? Taking some hours to research for my character is part of the love of being a role player. You have no restrictions like in reality when role-playing. Your character could own anything. Your character could possess any skill you don't even have. We search for some urban photography opportunities, which I quite enjoy. As of late, I often compare myself to others. One of my other insecurities is my graphics not being good enough. Such a stupid thing. I let it limit my character sometimes, forgetting the process of editing my own content, how I have learned to make shots live up to what I'm actually imagining seeing. Photography is an amazing art form that anyone can do, with any graphics. I used to feel restricted, unable to take photos that looked decent, because I was too busy being not immersed about computer graphics. Trixie doesn't think about graphics though. This is her world. This is her reality. This is the reality of hers that she sees. We're just viewing it. It's actually wonderful. We often forget to appreciate the universes our characters dwell in, and photography reminds me of the beauty in everything. Old games, new games, with graphics, or even just reading text. Roleplay isn't reliant on graphics, mechanics of a game. Its core just expression through language, usually written over spoken. I was depressed even after the footage I took. Sometimes you can't find a mood you feel in reality, even in your own comfort escape. I struggled not to just log out. Trixie returned to the PD station and went for a walk around the park. She deserved a day, and a stunning day it was. In the end, I did end up feeling relaxed. The high I was under was mellowing out, and that stupid, seemingly trivial anxiety was now gone. Now I could fully enjoy my setting. The content I captured I began to reflect on as something I can now showcase for Trixie, the art of her world impactful in my own reality. Walking back, we had to pack her car before we decided to end her day. One more chore. I always leave my character's belongings out in the world because it lets people know the character is existing in the world actively. I find it unrealistic to store your car away every time you park somewhere. To be in a world with a living animal as your steed, and you simply flee your horse in the middle of town like it's a trained dog, opposed to taking your most loyal partner to a stable for horseshoe adjustment. Mechanics ruining one's own self-immersion, and in turn, everyone else's. How will someone know your character is enjoying the beach if you always stow away a major key piece of your character's presence away? How do you expect connection when you never leave yourself open to being discovered? If someone steals Trixie's vehicle, it creates a story for her. No story opportunity should be seen as negative, neutral, but never negative. Life is all about experiences and the experience. Let your characters experience life. Their life. After parking Trixie's cutie, I thought about going into the PD. After all, that group I saw when I first logged in was still in there. Instead, we did something for our character. Had our own adventure. Socialization with others popped up when it was appropriate, instead of seeking it in circles of endless, pointless banter. Time for Trixie to end her day. Time for me to work on Trixie outside of her reality, fix up her content, make this very video, maybe research camera brands. I don't need to go into the PD with Trixie, and Trixie doesn't need to go into the PD. Thanks for taking the time to hear my thoughts. If you seek more out of roleplay, don't be discouraged by what others are doing. Sometimes your character's world can feel hard to immerse in. It isn't the location. Accept that elements exist. Accept that people exist. Accept the role you choose and begin to exist. Only when you fully immerse and are existing can the elements you don't like to see actually begin to change. Because the most important thing about being a role player is being aware that others are always perceiving your character. So give your best performance. Stop seeking validation from other role players, waiting for some big event to entertain you and define your own character. You will be missing the point of role-playing. Instead, give yourself attention, your character attention. Role-playing is majorly about developing a character, alone, in a group, downed and dying, or just at home trying to find peace after a long day of depressing real stuff. You only control your character, so finally take control. Peace, love, immerse into another reality.